Not having the inspiration and motivation to be creative really sucks. Writers like myself call it writer's block. I'm sure you've heard of it, and I'm sure there's other terms for it for people who paint, or who are musicians, or who do photography, you know, all of those other creative outlets. And over the years, I have honed my ability to stay creative through various little implementations that I am going to share with you. My greatest weakness when it comes to being creative is always telling myself that I don't have the time to do it. You know, having jobs and, you know, being busy all the time doesn't really help the creative process. However, I've realized that we are all the cause of our own lack of creativity, because we can easily make the time if we want to, or if we have the motivation to do so. And a lot of people will say don't force yourself to be creative, but sometimes you have to. Like, you have to make time for creativity. If you don't make time for it, then you're never going to view it as an important or relevant thing in your life. Next, the best thing to do would be to organize your space, because, I mean, it's actually psychologically proven that being in a cluttered environment adds to depression, which also leads to unmotivation, and it's always best, in order to be creative, if you are in an environment that helps you stay creative. It's important to surround yourself with tools that help you more easily stay creative. Personally, since I'm a writer, I keep notebooks around. This one is for poetry, because I like to write poetry, and then I have one for other ideas and journals and yada yada. I also have one somewhere for nonfiction writing, and it just helps me stay organized. And if I am like at work or something and I have an idea, since I always take these with me, I can just open it real quick if I can, and I'll write down the idea, and then when I get home I can always build onto that idea. A lot of people get bored with their talents. Like, I know sometimes I will get bored with photography. I love photography. Sometimes I will get bored with writing. So I try to combine my different creative outlets. I know in the summertime, usually when I do photography, I will take pictures and I will write poems about a picture. And it gives me the opportunity to build on both of my creative outlets, and it helps me to stay honed on both of them, and it essentially kills two birds with one stone. So if you're afraid of combining two different, like, creative outlets, don't be afraid. Like, definitely try that. It's always important to try new things in order to stay creative, because a lot of the time it will help you stay creative. I cannot begin to stress how important it is to research, to watch, and to listen. And this has mainly to do with reading, movies, /TV, and music. Like, these are things that inspire people to be creative. I know I do a lot of reading. Like, for me, gardening is a creative outlet, and before the springtime, I will always do a lot of reading about gardening. Like, I have a ton of gardening books, and I will research. That way, it makes me more motivated and inspired to garden when the time comes. And also, if I'm, like, writing and I'm in a rut, I will listen to music or watch something that inspires me, and that will help get the creative juices flowing. I know people are afraid to do this, myself included. I am so guilty of this, but it's important to share your work and get it out there. If you are interested in staying creative, getting published, anything like that, it's important that you get other people's perspectives on your work. Yes, it might mean that you may have to take some criticism, but that's what creativity is about, taking criticism. And not only that, but it allows yourself to set goals. And that's a very important thing. Especially if you want to share your work, you have to set goals for yourself. And by doing that, you will stay creative, because it gives you something more to advance toward. After you have made time to be creative and followed all of these other steps, it's important to maintain that amount of creativity through repetition. I try to write every single day because it helps keep my skills honed and focused. And not only that, but the more and more I get used to that repetition, it becomes more of a solidified schedule in my daily schedule. And I think everybody can relate to this. It doesn't matter really what creative outlet you have. If you exercise that outlet every day, it'll get stronger. It's kind of like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it will get. I hope these 7 steps helped you in some way to stay creative. I know I have a lot of friends in my life who are always telling me that they're unmotivated and uninspired. And truth be told, I've learned this from personal experience, that the only person that can do anything about that is yourself. If we want to be creative, we have to make the necessary adjustments and changes in order to ensure that creativity. But yes, if you guys have any steps on how to be creative, I would really love to hear them. Either do a video response or comment below. I am very intrigued by what all of you do and all of your different processes. And also, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, click the subscribe button or the tab that I have in the video and continue following my videos, because I will probably do more like this in the future. You guys have a good night tonight.